She appeared in the successful Charlie's Angels series of films in addition to martial arts, box office hits, Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2. Terrific actress is Lucy Liu. Isn't this nice to see these beautiful young women in spring dresses?
So great.
So nice.
She looks amazing. And I love your necklace, the way it's like, did you glue that on like that?
No, my friend actually agents a bunch of jewelers, and this is one of her pieces that I bought from her. It's 2 hearts.
Love it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So good.
For you and your loved one?
Any loved one out there.
Anyone who would love to be a loved one. You look great.
Thanks, sweetie.
Welcome back to New York.
It's so great to be back in the city.
Of course, you're back in the choice time. This is April, you know.
Well, yesterday the weather was like unbelievable. I was walking around in flip-flops.
Yeah.
Everyone was like in shorts.
86 degrees yesterday.
Yeah.
It was warmer here than it was in LA when I left.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, and today's like kind of fall weather, which is nice.
So I understand you've got at least 3 films all backed up and waiting to be released, huh?
Yeah, well, I shot a lot of independents this last year, and so like when you shoot an independent film, you don't know if it's going to actually be released. So
right.
I've done. I mean, people are like, "Oh, is this movie your first movie?" Blah blah blah. I said, actually, I've done a lot. They never made it.
Never got a...
They never made the cut.
You've done like some enormous blockbusters, and then the little independents. What are some other differences between the two?
Well, I think for the independents, I don't have to do as much kung fu.
Right.
That's the main difference. Like you get to do other roles, and like you remember Charlize in Monster? She was so amazing in that.
Of course.
I mean, you get to do things that you don't normally get to do for commercial films. So I did something that we shot in Thailand, which was unbelievable. It was supposed to originally shoot in China, but they had so many rules and regulations that they said, we'll just shoot it in Thailand. And there are actually a whole bunch of Chinese people that live up in Thailand, and so when I got there, they're like, oh. I'm like, we're in the mountains, how does, and they spoke Chinese, and I spoke Chinese in the movie, so, but that has to get distribution and...
Yeah, it's a lot of problems the public is unaware of, but it takes a long time to get, sometimes never, to get out there.
Yeah. Well, I'll send you the
Yeah, we'd like to see them anyway. We'll be right back with Lucy Liu in a moment. Lucy Liu is our guest, and you didn't hear this, of course, but I'm here. There's no way I can avoid things like this, so I'm just minding my own business. When Kelly leans over and says to her, "Do you retain water?"
I just want to know, because I don't think she ever does. I bet she's never retained water a day in her life.
And Lucy said, "I don't drink coffee," whatever that. All right, let's talk about...
I heard the question.
Retaining water of any
Something nice that's happened to you. You were appointed to be a UNICEF ambassador earlier this week, right? Good for you.
Thank you.
It's very nice.
So what does that entail? Where will you have to go? What will you have to do?
Well, I had been wanting to work with children for a long time, but I didn't really know what organization I wanted, because there's so many different organizations you can work with. And so I did some research and decided to go to UNICEF. So I was like, UNICEF, I'm just wondering if you guys have any, reason to have me be a part of your group. And so that, like 2 months later, I went last August to this country called Lesotho, which is a country that not many people know about, that's surrounded by South Africa, and basically went to look at all the programs and educate myself. So for the last almost year, I've been sort of doing that, and I just felt like it'd be easier for me to know what I'm talking about before they actually appointed me ambassador. And so now I can sort of spread awareness.
So what did you find there?
Well, I found that the people there are so warm and beautiful and loving, and they have such a strong sense of community, even though they don't have very much at all. I mean, literally nothing. I mean, mostly all of the clothes they were wearing were like completely shredded or almost like nylons. They were so thin. And there's a huge pandemic of AIDS there. So what's happening in Lesotho, because nobody really knows about it, they've heard about South Africa and things like that, but Lesotho is basically like sort of an invisible emergency. They call it that, or a silent emergency, where people don't know about it, so they need as much help as they possibly can get,
And UNICEF will supply that.
UNICEF has, we went to visit like a young farmers group where they supplied them with seeds and some money to start an agricultural area for the village, which the people in the village come and work for the farm, and they get to have the vegetables, and they also sell them, and so it's sort of a group effort, you know. I went to visit orphanages and different, like there's a place called the Good Shepherd's Home where they have teenage mothers that are there who are pregnant, and they've sort of been, you know, excommunicated from their village, and they take them in and they have the child there, and then they get them back on their feet, and they get them to help them get jobs. And so there's so many things that can be done, and the kids there, you know, you don't see kids running around in, you know, in New York or in Los Angeles even when they're little, you know, because they're usually in carriages or they're being held.
Sure.
But as soon as the kids there can walk, they are like running around, and you know, they're on their own.
Yeah.
And so you see, you will be driving on this very sort of windy road, and you'll see like so many kids in groups like this small walking to school. And it takes them, you know, sometimes 2 to 3 hours to get to school.
Wow.
Yeah, so all they really want is education. Like we had a program where we sat down and we asked this classroom, like, ask any questions that you want. And all of the kids just said, you know, we want to further our education. We've, you know, this is our last year, and the next year for high school they have to pay for school. And it's like $500 to pay for school, U.S. money, which is a lot of money.
Sure.
And so they can't afford it, so they end up working in the fields, or, you know what I mean, not furthering
Education stops right
in their
there.
careers. Exactly. So it's so unfortunate, you know. And the thing that I had to remind myself of was not to be reactive, you know, like not be like, oh my God, you know, like you just have to go in there and sort of see the overall, you know, view of what you need to do, and then sort of come back and then discuss it and sort of sort it out, instead of like, because if you try to help one child, like then you're missing on all, you know what I mean?
Right, sure, of course.
And this is part of your job, educating us about what needs to be done over there, right?
Educating myself, too.
Sure. Lucy Liu,
Great Spaniard.
ambassador for UNICEF. Thanks, Lucy. We'll be right back with some kid ballroom dancers gonna knock you out.